You are now tuned into the Panther Nation podcast.
Delone fires to an open Smith. Steve Smith is going to go all the way. No flag down. Smith scores, and the Carolina Panthers win in overtime.
Seal, he's intercepted by Keithley. Keithley inside the 20, to the 10, and to the end zone for another Panthers.
All right. What's going on, Panther Nation? I know I started an hour earlier today than I wanted to, but, it had to be done. It had to be done today because I know some of you guys want to watch these debates. So I'm here to help you out to get you right for fantasy prior to the debates. I will be done by 9 p.m. I promise I will. What's going on, Slim? Who else is in here? This week has been this week from a fantasy perspective has been kind of rough. I'm gonna be 0-3 in one of my leagues. Well, I am 0-3 in one of my leagues. It's not I'm gonna be. I am 0-3 in one of my leagues, and it's 0-3 is it's not exactly the most optimal place to be. So, from that perspective, I have a video from some streaming that I did recently that I wanted to show you guys. And it's just for me, it's just a friendly reminder that it's not over until it's over. Yo, that's brutal. That, my friend, is brutal. That's brutal. I was the third highest scorer in one of the leagues, and I ended up losing. I lost by 20 points. It's brutal, man. And the thing is, I had Justin Jefferson on my bench, and if I would have played him, I would have won. But who would have known that Justin Jefferson was going to go crazy this week, considering how bad what's his name, but how bad Kirk Cousins has been playing. So, Justin Jefferson's probably one of the top waiver wire pickups in our league. That is not going to even be an option. You lost to Pat. It's all right, man. Pat's trying to make sure that he's after all the grief we gave him last year, man, he's trying to be competitive, and I can't be mad at him for that. So, I can't be mad at him for that. But I want to show you this video, man, because I'm sitting 0-3 in a league, and I'm sitting 1-2 in a lot of them, too. I don't think I'm 2-1 in any of my leagues right now. So, it's always a concept of, it ain't over till it's over. So, this is a stream that I was trying out my camera that I got, and this is a stream that I did on Super Punch Out. I was at the final boss, and I want to show it to you. You might get a kick out of it, you might not. We'll see. And then after that, we'll take questions and we'll talk about some of the fantasy pickups you could potentially do in your leagues today. And I'm gonna get you out of here prior to 9 o'clock. So that's the goal. So it's about 4-minute video. So enjoy. Oof. Oh. All right, let's go. Lower the volume a bit. Oh! That's a wrap. I ain't gonna win this fight because I ain't got enough energy to keep up. Maybe I will make this comeback. There's energy up though. Got him. That was such a terrible start, but I closed it. So, basically in a nutshell, guys, you never give up. Even if you start 0-3 or 1-2, you always got to keep it rolling. Super Punch-Out doesn't have online play. You could play, like, the Switch has if you got the Nintendo Switch online, there's a couple old school games on there that you can play. So that's where that came from, which is a pretty cool concept. So, but, like, you never give up. Even if you start 0-3, you're not out of it by any stretch of the imagination. You can still be a champion starting 0-3. You don't have to be the top seed to win the championship. You can win. You can be the fourth seed and still win the chip. So you never worry about the start. It's about how you close it out. Because typically most teams that end up winning these fantasy championships are the ones that are hot at the end. Like, it's rare that you have a team that's been dominant the majority of the season and then finish the season as champion. Believe it or not, like, if you look at it, there aren't too many teams that start that goes to the wire from first to first the entire way. You don't have to nail the draft to win the chip. You can win a chip off the wire. And that's why we're here. Because champions can come off the wire too. So, now let's talk about some of these waiver wire options that you can roll with. Myles Gaskin is a running back from Miami. Really good guy. It's not a question that he has the job now. He's the one that's going to be the bulk of the carries. High-end flex, potential RB2 potential right here. He's available in a lot of leagues. I know in a couple leagues I'm going to try to scoop him up. Some of my deeper leagues he's not around, but in some of the typical 10-teamers, he's still out there. So he's an option if you need some running back help. Running backs are at a premium now, so there's no shame in trying to stock up on your running back position. Carlos Hyde is also an option as well with Chris Carson getting hurt. Chris Carson might have dodged the bullet, but I have a feeling they're going to probably ease up on him a bit. So Carlos Hyde would be the guy that you want to get in Seattle. I understand that Russell Wilson has been going off a lot. You have to start thinking about the running game too as well. He's not going to be able to sling it forever. He can't average 5 touchdowns a game. They're probably going to leverage more at the running back position. If Chris Carson is going to be out for an extended period of time, then Carlos Hyde is your guy. A lot of folks have been talking about Jeff Wilson. McKinnon got hurt near the end of the game. If you didn't get Jeff Wilson last week, here's your opportunity to get Jeff Wilson now. He's still available in a lot of leagues. I think a lot of folks might have went for him too when they heard about Mostert being out and Tevin Coleman being out for an extended period of time. So when you want to talk about an option at the running back position, you can roll with Jeff Wilson Jr. Another running back is a little bit on the deeper end of the fence that you can start thinking about, and it's super speculation. It's something that it's something that you're gonna have a level of patience for. It's not somebody that you pick up now and play him next week unless you're absolutely desperate. Brian Hill, running back for the Atlanta Falcons. I know the Atlanta Falcons is trash. They can't keep a lead to save their lives. But Brian Hill showed some things last week. I'm not saying he's gonna take the job, but he could potentially be an option for you. Yeah, Darrell Henderson, man. Darrell Henderson is a tough situation. With Cam Akers look like he's going to be out for an extended period of time. If Darrell Henderson is available, you should try to go ahead and pick him up. He could I think with the way that Malcolm Brown played last week against the Bills, I think this is pretty much Darrell Henderson's job to keep. So Darrell could end up becoming a low end RB1, RB2-ish type of guy, fringe RB2 for sure. I know, but it's all about the fact that there's a potential of a three-headed monster. But as long as Cam Akers is not around, Henderson could probably could take over the job. Like the longer that Cam Akers can't come in, the better. Because I know he's still not trusted on the pass blocking side of the fence, and Darrell Henderson is. So Henderson has the potential to get some work done with regards to that. Now, with regards to other running backs, those are pretty much the four that you want to roll with. I mean, the order I have it, if they're available, Gaskin, Hyde, Wilson, and Hill. But Hill's more like a speculative type of play. Separated cartilage in his ribs? Oh, God. Do we know whether or not he's going to try to play through it? Speaking of IR spot, I'm going to add the IR spot to the Panther Nation podcast at least tonight. I mentioned that I was going to do it. I never did, and I'm gonna make it happen tonight. With regards to the other players at the wide receiver position, I mean, I'm kind of shocked that Corey Davis is still available in a massive amount of leagues. I would think like everybody's trying to wait and see what's going to happen with A.J. Brown for the Titans. But if Corey Davis is still available in your leagues, you need to go get Corey Davis, period. You need to go after Corey Davis because he can help you out in some leagues. He has wide receiver 2 upside with A.J. Brown being out. So Adam Humphries has potential flex upside as well. So those are the wide receivers you need to start looking into. Justin Jefferson's probably the top guy you want to go after, though. Justin Jefferson showed out last week. I drafted him in my keeper leagues, and the reason why I did is because I was thinking about long term. I wasn't thinking about this season. I was thinking about the following seasons. He's going to be somebody that I could keep, and it looks like he's going to pay off because there's some folks that I'm going to probably have to make the decision on because my team's averaging 200 points a week, but that's only gotten me 1 and 2. So, but I like Justin Jefferson a lot in keepers in redraft leagues. I am an advocate of Justin Jefferson. He's my top wide receiver pick for this waiver wire column. Waiver wire week. Corey Davis is definitely number 2. T. Higgins is interesting. Greg Ward, considering all the injuries going on with the wide receiver position for the Eagles, he's very interesting. Alshon Jeffrey's going to be coming back soon. Jalen Reagor is still hurt. Deshaun Jackson is out. They lost Dallas Goedert, so the 2 tight end sets are pretty much gone. So I think at this point, Jeffrey's coming back soon. So if Jeffrey's still available, you can pick Jeffrey up as well. If you have some level of patience, he should be available right now. Greg Ward is going to be somebody that could be useful for the next couple of weeks as long as these other wide receivers are out. So Greg Ward is an option. Brandon Ayuk from the 49ers is an option. But that's just, once again, is another pick up and see type of situation. A lot of these folks are going to be watched. I don't agree that Alshon is washed. I think when healthy, Alshon has wide receiver 2 potential. And the fact that the Eagles can't keep a wide receiver healthy to save their lives, he'll end up becoming the number 1 wide receiver as soon as he returns. He's just injury prone. I mean, if you want to talk about somebody to pick, Greg Ward is an option. Alshon's still available, so, I mean, he's an option as well. At what point did you add Jalen Hurts to your bench? I'm not ready yet, man. I mean, Wentz is still there. They're not gonna bench Wentz yet. They paid that man too much money to bench him. And speaking of quarterbacks, when you want to talk about quarterbacks, Jared Goff is available in a lot of leagues. So are y'all trying to get trades in? Cooper Kupp or Justin Jefferson? Cooper Kupp. I wouldn't be dropping Cooper Kupp yet. And by the way, I called Cooper Kupp. I told you guys that he was going to go off and he was due. You got to play Cooper Kupp ahead of Justin Jefferson. You can't be dropping Cooper Kupp right now. You cannot. You cannot be dropping Cooper Kupp. You go after Jefferson. There's probably some other options that you can drop to go get Jefferson. You said I need something better than Dobbins. Nah, I don't agree with that, man. Yeah, Dobbins' upside ain't happening until Ingram's out of the picture. And the fact that the number one running back right now in Baltimore is not neither one of them. It's Lamar. So I like Gaskins a lot, man. Yeah, Lamar Jackson is the running back you want, but the problem is most folks need it. No problem, D-Tice. Nah, but it's just I think at this point when it comes to the waiver wires, oh yeah, but I'm losing my mind when it comes to the quarterbacks. The only quarterback I would consider adding that might be available in some leagues is Jared Goff. Jared Goff has been playing pretty damn well. He played pretty well against a really good Buffalo defense last week. I know Jared Goff is kind of, Jekyll and Hyde, but he's been producing. He's been producing better than some of these quarterbacks out there. Bye weeks are coming up. He's a good bye week pickup. Would you drop DJ Chark for Jeffrey? Already have Robinson, Kupp, Woods, Allen, DJ Moore. I don't know, man. I think I would hold off on Chark for a little while. You rather have, DJ. Like I said, I think I'd rather keep Chark around. I don't think I want to deal with Jeffrey yet. I think I'm still a champion of Garrett Minshew. So from Jacksonville, he had a rough game against Miami last week, but I'm still a champion of him. Oh man, I love Fitz, but yeah, it might be time to drop him, man. Andy Isabella. If he's available, he's a guy you could try to pick up too. Because as long as Kirk is out, I think Isabella's the guy. I love Fitz, man. But the problem is with DeAndre Hopkins there, he kind of took the Fitz role. So, Gardner, my bad. I said Garrett, didn't I? For tight ends, you got Mo Ali Cox and Dalton Schultz. Ali Cox plays for the Colts. Looks like Jack Doyle, even though he's back from injury, Ali Cox is a better target for Phillip Rivers. So Ali Cox is probably the move that you want to make if you need a tight end. Dalton Schultz, they throw the fact that the Cowboys throw it a lot. We can roll with a tight end, and Schultz is the guy for Dallas. So let's go with that. Look, man, Slim, you got to understand something, bro. There's no shame. There's no shame in having depth at running back on your bench. The bye weeks are coming. And I think for teams that start 0-3, bye weeks is where you shine if you draft better and you get through that waiver wire better. Because at this point in the game, this is where you can take advantage of folks who didn't draft well. Because a lot of folks who draft just for that starting lineup, they tend to start strong, but when they draft based on the starters, taking quarterbacks early, taking tight ends early, not prioritizing certain positions, taking your defenses early, taking your kickers early, the bye weeks is where the pain comes. Because now, but for them taking those positions early, your quarterback, your tight end, your defense, your kickers, for them taking that early, now you have to consider they're going to be hurting on bye weeks because they lack the depth on their bench. They're going to lack that depth. And this is where you can pounce to get some wins off if you draft it well and if you attack the waiver wire well. Because this is where the bye week season is where things change real fast. And I wanted to ask y'all about this since we got a lot of time. I'm not getting too many questions. If Noah Fant is available in your league, you need to pick him up. But if there's got to be another tight end that you could potentially drop instead of Evan Ingram to try to wait that out. But I love Noah Fant. But this is, so like, when bye week season comes, this is your opportunity to pounce if you had a slow start. Because what ends up happening is that the top level teams are not panicking yet because they're like 3-0, 2-1, and not too worried about buys. But then when it gets closer to the end of that bye week run, that's when the panic happens because their team starts getting impacted and they lack the depth. Yeah, but like I said earlier, man, you never give up, even if you start 0-3. Well, the problem with Saquon is that everybody's figured it out. They're like, we're going to put 8 or 9 in the box and let you see if you can stop. Yeah, Kamara, I'm starting to regret not taking Kamara at 4 or 3. But then again, you can't predict the injury of Michael Thomas. I think Kamara is benefiting big time with Michael Thomas' injury. But, you got Hunter Henry. I mean, that case, you can take the risk to drop Ingram for Fant. I would prefer to try to trade him, but what did Gurley do last week? I know he got a touchdown. I do remember that, but what did he do last week? How many points did he get last week? What did he get last week? Let me check. Let me see what Gurley looking like. I will say this. Gurley, he's deep in this. He's deep in this line, man. That's not good. Damn, how many points did Gurley get last week? Yeah, Brian Hill is going to be a reason why you're going to have trouble with leveraging a trade for trading Gurley away. Brian Hill had 15 points last week in the PPR league. But where the hell is Gurley? If you want to talk about running backs you should try to go after, we can do that too. There he is, 15.2. I mean, if you're trying to sell high, this will probably be it. Because Brian Hill's going to eat into his touches. So last week, Gurley got 14 carries. Hill got 9. But Hill's 9 was way more efficient. So 15 touches for Gurley, 10 touches for Brian Hill. That's problematic. Yeah, man. DJ Moore I might have to give up on. But the problem is, the league that I have DJ Moore in, I also have Godwin. So I don't have a choice. I might have to play him. I'm debating, though, because DJ Moore is problematic. I'm starting to think that Robbie might be the one man in Carolina right now. So, and if that's the case, then Robbie Anderson needs to be picked up in a lot of leagues if he's not picked up already. I'm just concerned. I'm just super concerned. Well, they haven't fired Quinn yet, have they? Yeah, you can buy low on DJ. There's a few players you could probably go after to buy low on. I can name a couple if you want. You could probably buy low on, if somebody's panicking about what happened with Kenyon Drake last week, you could buy low on him. He only got 8 points last week. You could buy low on Joe Mixon too. I think Joe Mixon is a pure big opportunity. I mean, you could pick up Brandon Ayuk in fantasy. You should try to go after him if he's available. Another person that I would be trying to trade for. You can see if you can find somebody to take David to go out to see if is willing to give David Montgomery away with Tariq going out. It might be an opportunity. Gurley for Drake. They might. You'd be surprised. People panic at the beginning of the season, man. Mixon can be a bust, but if you can get Mixon cheap, I think it's worth it. I mean, Mixon still got 7. Mixon touched the ball 19 times last week. He's just not as efficient. But I always have this thing, man. Touches turns to yards, which turns to touchdowns. And that's opportunity. You're screwed, bro. I got to figure out what I'm going to do about Breeze. I would love to trade Breeze if I could. Because I would love to trade Breeze and just play Joe Burrow. Because Joe Burrow's going to have to sling it. Because, yeah, man. I said this last week to Rashad. This week to Rashad during the live show. I said, man, in one of my keeper leagues, I had Josh Allen. And I put him back in the draft thinking I could go back and get him later. Somebody snapped him up and I had to settle for Drew Brees. And Josh Allen is playing out of his damn mind. I probably would be 3-0 right now. So, sugar-free jelly beans, man. Shout out to Jelly Belly. So, I like Antonio Gibson. He's getting to work. I mean, he's more of a flex. I mean, he had 12 touches last week. So, and Cam Akers, with the rib injury, man, I don't know how long that man's going to be out. So, I think the Cam Akers show could probably be a chill type of thing. You probably could drop Cam Akers if you want to. I mean, you could try Gurley and back to your trade ordeal. You can try Gurley for Drake and see if somebody will fall for it. You'll be surprised, man. The panic game is ridiculous at the beginning. Like, so I played the Punch-Out video, the Super Punch-Out video to talk about the concept of never giving up. 0-4 is at the point where you got to make an executive decision. And like, if you're 0-3 and you're about to walk into 0-4, you need to make a decision now. And some 1-3 teams probably need to make a decision too. And the decision you need to make is, do I think you need to figure out how you've been losing these matchups? Are you losing these matchups because you're just not playing the right players? Or is it because you're not having enough luck? You're not catching the proper breaks. You keep running into like a top 2 team every week for that week, which is possible. Or is it because your team just ain't good? All right? You got to differentiate between the three. If your team ain't that good, you need to blow that team up. It's time to start making some rash decisions. It might be time to blow the team up. And there's no shame if you need to blow the team up. All right? And there's none. Because if you're trying to win this thing, you need to do what you got to do to blow it up. Don't give your team away. Don't have a fire sale. But you need to consider blowing your team up. All right? Now, if it's a situation where you're just playing the wrong players, like you have the points are there for you to win matches, and you played a different running back than you probably should have, then you kind of need to kind of grind with what you have and try to. And you can still do potential trades to see if to have potential to improve your team, or you can have a situation where you make the decision to just trade somebody away to try to improve in some other holes that you have and make some calculated risks. That's where the moment you could do that if you're having issues putting the right players in. And if you have a situation where you're just having the terrible luck and you're just running into freaking bulldozers, like for example, I said earlier in one of my leagues that I'm 1-2 in, I've ran into the top scorer 2 out of my 3 weeks. And I was a top 3 scorer in both of those weeks. When you have situations like that, then you kind of just gotta go with the grind. Like this, like it's not a situation where you didn't draft well and you didn't have a good team. It's just you're running into these people. I had one league where I ran into the top scorer 6 out of the first 9 weeks. And I was the second highest scorer in 5 out of those 6 weeks. You can't do anything about that. All you can do is run the course. sometimes winning fantasy leagues requires a little bit of luck too. And sometimes you got to roll with what you have. You know, that league, I missed the playoffs. I was the third highest scorer in that league, and I missed the playoffs. Sometimes you just run into the bulldozers. It just happens. You can't do nothing about that. There's other ways. There's some leagues, and I'm an advocate of doing this, where you play 2 people each week. So then that way you can either go 2-0, 1-1, or 0-2. That kind of helps it out a little bit. But you know, you can't. You're lucky. You got to get lucky to win some of these leagues. Like, even if you draft well, even if you do well on the wire, sometimes you just run into bulldozers every week, and you can't be mad at that. I mean, sometimes those are the breaks. You know what I'm saying? But you, as a fantasy player, need to do the best thing you can to try to win every week. You know, and let the chips fall as they may. But so, like, I'm looking at some of my squads right now, and the 0-3 squad that I'm in, I'm almost ready to blow the team up. I'm real close, because this squad I have Julio Jones. My wide receivers I drafted Julio Jones, Chris Godwin, and DJ Moore. Julio Jones is hurt. DJ Moore is underperforming, to say the least. And Chris Godwin is going to probably not play again next week. So I'm hurting badly. And yeah, Le'Veon Bell is droppable. I can't drop him, bro. I could drop him, but I would rather try to trade him and try to get some value out of him. Because, well, you don't have to make moves yet, depending on how you were losing. Like, in this league, I've been getting my ass whooped. I lost by 40 this week. But when I look at the standings, the first thing I look at is how much points am I putting in versus everybody else. And right now in that league, I am ranked as the 8th highest scorer. In a 10-team league, that's pretty terrible. And then when you look at strength of schedule, my opponents have been giving up. I've been giving up the second most points. So I've been running into some tough people, and I'm the 8th highest scorer in the league. So it could go either way, but I'm not having the same breaks as some of the other folks are. It's funny because the two 0-3 teams in this league ran into the top. We got the top 2 scorers that we've ran into over the past 3 weeks. So if I go 0-4, I'm ready to blow this team up. But the problem is that I don't have that much leverage with this team. Let me see if I can pull it up. Maybe I can try to pull it up. Let's see. Let's see here. See if I can pull it up. Display capture. Alright, let's see if this works. Display capture, let's see. It's going to allow me to do it, man. Everything's so locked out on my computer, unfortunately. Screen recording. OBS. Oh, nah. Can't do that. Alright, so I can't show it to you this week, guys. But next week I will show it to you. But what it boils down to is that I have a plethora of squads. I'm going to add it. I'm going to add it before the show's over. I promise. Matter of fact, let me do it right now. I haven't forgotten. I'm going to add it right now. Let me see if I can make the edit here. Actually, let me get into the league that I'm actually the commission. Let's see. IR spot. Let's see. Oh, it's not going to let me edit it, man. Oh, that's I can't change it, man. I can't change it. It won't allow me to. You can't change it after the draft is done. So, my apologies, Tony. ESPN won't allow me to change it. After the draft's done, you can't change it. But yeah, so when I look at my 0-3 squad right now, I'm in a dire situation. Like my quarterback's Joe Burrow. I'm gonna start Burrow, but I'm gonna probably be forced to play Michael Gallup this week or Corey Davis because I don't feel comfortable playing Mike Davis and DJ Moore after what happened to me last week. I could probably get away with playing David Montgomery now since Tariq Cohen is out, but Le'Veon Bell is problematic. Now next year for sure we're gonna make it happen. That's on me. I'll own up to that. But like when you start thinking about everything that's going on with regards to this squad, like my quarterback is Joe Burrow, running backs. I drafted Dalvin Cook and Le'Veon Bell, and Bell's out for a couple weeks. But the 3 weeks is almost up, so I'm almost ready to get him back in there. Mike Davis is my second running back right now, and David Montgomery is in my flex. My wide receivers, I drafted Chris Godwin, DJ Moore, and Julio Jones. Julio Jones has been an extreme disappointment, to say the least. He's been killing me, and Godwin has been killing me as well. So my 2 wide receivers that I drafted has been killing me. I got Tyler Higbee as my tight end, which is pretty good. Chargers defense, and Rory Gold is my kicker. But I'm losing. I'm not scoring enough points to compete. So I'm getting ready to blow up this team. I'm gonna give it one more week, then it might be time to blow it up. Because I scored 112 points this week. So that puts me at 1, 2, 3rd. It's the 4th lowest score, well, 5th lowest. So I'm in the middle of the pack for this week. But I need to start scoring in the 130s to 140s to compete. So I need to get that. I need to get that going, and that hasn't been happening in this league. So I might have to blow this team up. I ran into a lot of bad luck with the injuries, is what it boils down to here. But I think I feel confident that I might be able to make a comeback. I typically start slow in this league. So like for me, I'm not panicking yet. Because in this league, it's a high stakes league, but if you make the playoffs, you get your money back at a minimum. So for me, I think I can get some work. I can get some work with it. Yeah, man, I want to talk about this COVID thing. I was about to bring it up earlier, but I do want to talk about this COVID thing. This is scary because of the fact that the Titans knew the guy tested positive for COVID and he still played. That's bothersome. That tells me that the NFL is not taking this as seriously as it needs to be taking it. And I don't know how that's going to handle how they're going to reschedule these games. Like, how is this going to work? How are they going to reschedule these games? Because the odds are pretty high that the bye weeks for the teams that are playing each other are probably not going to be, it's going to be different. So you can't just say, oh, this will be their bye week and then we'll just maneuver stuff around. It's not going to work that way. So I don't know how they're going to reschedule this. This is the thing that this is the fear that everybody was worried about. So luckily it's not, I wouldn't dub it an outbreak because it's only 3 players, but this is something you got to worry about because now you got to lock down the facilities. So it puts those teams at a significant disadvantage. I would be stunned if they decide to play those games on Sunday because typically you have a 14-day incubation period. So I'm going to see how it's going to go. All right. Jay Simp just offered Matt Ryan for Gaspin. How desperate are you at quarterback, bro? You have to change a way. You have to find a way to trade for Calvin Ridley. Well, Aston, I argue that you should trade Calvin Ridley away. I think now would be the time that you can fix some of your problems. Like if you got running back problems, you can fix your problems. You can take them, and you probably get, and you can probably find somebody that's intriguing enough, and you can get an RB1 back for Calvin Ridley, and that would probably be work on your favor. You need to sell Ridley high right now. Like, if you have Ridley, this is the move. You need to sell him high right now. You need to sell. You need to sell. Get rid of him. I'll tell you what, Matt Ryan for Gaspin might be a fair trade. I mean, look at, if you really need a quarterback that bad, Tony, you got to consider it. Because Matt Ryan is playing out of his mind and blowing all these leads, so I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. But yeah, man, this is the time where you got to start thinking about trading people that are high. So, yeah, but if he doesn't, or you got, oh, well, see what's in the wire, man. You probably can get an improvement over Breeze. I mean, I'm thinking like I was ready to bench Breeze for Burrow this week, but it looks like it worked out this week. But start next week, man, I can't trust Breeze. Breeze doesn't have the arm anymore. But yeah, man, Breeze doesn't have the arm anymore. Man. So I'm looking at this high stakes league, and I'm looking at the players that are available. It's a 10-team league, so I could probably improve my situation a lot. So the first thing I need to work at is wide receivers, and of course, there ain't the best available ones are Golden Tate, Curtis Samuel, Hunter Renfrow, and Adam Humphries. Oh, Alan Lazard. Okay, so maybe Lazard might be the move there. But running backs are ugly. You know, by the way, just so you know, there's a reason why I didn't mention Rex Burkhead, because I think a lot of folks was thinking about, what about Rex Burkhead? The way he went off last week, I don't trust Patriots running backs. Cam is still getting a lot of carries. So I think I'm good on the Rex Burkhead show. Man, my whole bench is questionable. D. Adams, A.J. Brown, Mozart, Crowder. They're coming back. But here's the thing, man. Here's the thing. I can't show the league because I have to cut my stream off, and I don't want to do that. So here's the thing about your situation, D-Tice. Your bench, if you can survive these injuries, once your squad comes back, you're going to be sitting in a pretty good spot, man. They're coming back. But, like, Devontae Adams, you just got to wait on that. You know? That's somebody that you can try to trade for and buy low on if you want to try to potentially buy low on if you got a desperate owner because he's been out. So the PNP league standings, man. Let me look at this. Let me see what this. I can't pull it up, which is very unfortunate. I'm kind of actually. Well, could I? Wait, hold on. Let me see something. Could I pull it up? Let me see. Display capture. Try this one more time. Oh, it worked. This time it worked. It didn't reboot me, but that looks so weird. Ooh. I can only imagine what you guys are seeing right now. Display. I can only imagine what you guys are seeing right now. Huh, this is a mess. I can't do it. Something's weird's going on. All right, let me remove this. All right, peace out, man. All right, yeah, this ain't going to work. Let me go ahead and remove this, get me back to where I was. Let's see, let's, properties, let's remove it. Remove. Yep, let's remove that, because that didn't go nearly as well as I would like it to go. I'll figure that out for next week. But as for the standings, let's look at these standings real quick. I'll go over everybody in their place. Yeah, that was a disaster. I don't know why. I gotta figure out I'm gonna play around and learn how to do it. Yeah, that's a bug. I gotta fix that. I'll fix it. So the standings for the PNP League. Simp is so we got two undefeated teams. We got Simp and we got more. We got J Simp. We got More Life. They're both 3-0. Bell ain't back yet. See you later, Tony. So we got OVO Simp 3-0. More Life 3-0. Pat Coltrane 2-1. Big Baller Brand 2-1. Marcus 2-1. And who is this person? Noli's 2-1. Oh, can I change the playoff format? Because I think I'm going to let 6 in this year. I'm thinking they'll let me. I think they'll let me change the playoff format. I'm going to let 6 teams in this year, and I'm going to change it into 1 week playoffs. I got to double check where the bye weeks are, though, before I do that. But I'm going to let 6 teams in this year. I meant to change that before the draft, but I'm going to let 6 teams in this year in the playoffs. My 1-2 is powerful, man. I'm 1-2, but I'm pretty much a game away from just jumping and taking the 6th spot. Now, with regards to the folks that are scoring the highest, I'm the second. Like OVO Jay Simp is the highest scorer in the league, and I'm second place, and I'm 1-2. What else is new, right? But I also, it looks like I had the toughest. It looks like I had the second toughest schedule too. So, you know, Scottish Claymores, they've had the toughest schedule so far, and I've had the second toughest schedule. Jared's had the third toughest, and Mr. Baby Bubba's got the fourth toughest. So it gets real in the field, man. But I'm the second highest scorer in the league. So it goes back to that discussion I had about where are you at with regards to your squad and where you're sitting. If you're the second highest scorer in the league and you're 1-2, I don't think there's no reason to panic right now. You're sitting in a good spot. Your team's scoring the points. You're just running into folks. No, Chris is gone. Chris is gone. Austin's got to step it up, though. That's for sure. Austin's got to step his squad up. He's got to start fixing his team. Chris shouldn't be back in. I took it. I moved this slot to somebody else. Who's got Mike Davis and Robbie? It's not him. Jerry's going to have to find a kicker. Oh, Tony? Well, that's what Tony wanted to do, man. He won the league last year, so you can't be mad at his strategy. Once Christian McCaffrey comes back, it's going to be problematic, though. He had the number 1 overall pick, so I mean he made the right pick. It's just terrible luck. McCaffrey's never really had injury problems, so Bell ain't back yet, but I'm hoping he's coming soon, man. I need Bell to come back. Although I probably should consider trading him in the league that I have him in. Well, let's see. Let's think about it. Matt Ryan. Let's talk about Matty Ice. Matt Ryan. Right now. Matt Ryan right now is top. He's a QB1 in our league. So right now, Matt Ryan is ranked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's 8th, and Drew Brees is ranked 18th. So from that perspective, I mean, it's a significant jump of help. He could stream if he wanted to, but that's on him. That's his decision. You know? I mean, I would love to trade Joe Burrow. But, I mean, it's about what he wants for his position. I mean, if he feels confident in dropping Gaskins to do it, then. Because Gaskins, even though Gaskins is valuable right now, But the reality is Gaskins is he's ranked. He's in our league. He's ranked 22. So he's a flex right now. Get these dudes out of the league. Yo, man, like, I'm starting to question whether or not Robbins is going to really take over in Baltimore, man. Because I got Robbins sitting in my keeper league, and that was another draft pick for a keeper. And, like, I'm ready to start trading so I can fix my running back situation in some of my leagues. Look, man, whatever it takes to win. I have to figure out my situation for my running backs. But random question for you. You know, you might get a kick out of this. You know who's the top 20 running back in fantasy right now, and nobody's thinking about picking him up? There's a top 20 running back sitting in the waiver wire right now, and I don't think anybody's willing to pick him up. And I talked about him earlier. Rex Burkhead is 16th in fantasy right now in points. 16th in running at the position of running back. 16th. He's ahead of Melvin Gordon. He's ahead of Darrell Henderson, but I think we know why he's ahead of Darrell Henderson. He's ahead of Myles Gaskin. So it's this Rex Burkhead. He's 16th in fantasy right now. But he had that big day last week. So you got to take that into account. I mean, last week he had, let me see, let me look at the complete stacks. Last week he had, how many points did he, I don't want that. Last week he had 35 points. So pretty much that 1 week jumped him up to 16th in fantasy. Yeah, if you have Burkhead, this is the time to sell him. Like, you got to sometimes strike while the iron's hot with some of these guys. So if you got Rex Burkhead, this might be the time to go ahead and make the decision to pick him up. I mean, to trade him away. Like, you got to strike while the iron's hot. Like, if you got Justin Jefferson and you don't have a starting spot for him and he's sitting on your bench, if it's a redraft league, this is the time to strike while the iron is hot. Because Justin Jefferson being the second wide receiver, and if Kirk Cousins picks this up, I mean, he might have some value for you long term. But right now, if you're desperate to try to fix another situation with your roster, you can leverage people like a Justin Jefferson, a Rex Burkhead, something that's super inconsistent because people are going to be looking at the fact that this dude dropped 35 points last week and assume that he's going to do it every week, and that doesn't work that way. I wouldn't drop Joe Mixon for Mike Davis. I question how Mike Davis is still available in your league. You got to trade Mixon away. But like I said earlier, I like Mixon as a pick, as a potential somebody that you could trade for, because I think you can get Mixon very cheap right now because Mixon has been underperforming, and I think he's still going to get the bulk of the work. Drop Swift for Peterson. Nah, I think I would hold on to Swift. I mean, you're not starting either one right now. So at this point, you're in a waiting period. So the other thing you got to think about too is when you have questions like that, are you trying to keep folks on your roster thinking about week 4, week 5? Or are you trying to keep folks on your roster to start thinking about week 11, week 12, week 13? Because somebody like Swift might be picking it up by then. You just got to wait it out a little bit. See if something changes. Oh, Jesus. I haven't been, I'm not a fan of Detroit running backs. Like, I kind of put them in the same realm as the Patriots. And ironically enough, they both have, and the coaches for the Lions it's part of the lineage of Belichick, so I don't even know what the heck Swift has been doing. I don't know if he's been any good. I'm pretty sure Peterson's been taking the bulk of his work. Yeah, Swift has been underperforming. Well, yeah, he's been underperforming. Yeah, man. Swift is a bench player at best. He shouldn't be starting. But then, like, what has Peterson been doing? Because I haven't been paying too much. See, I don't pay attention to these Detroit running backs, man. Because traditionally, the Lions slang it. They're slangers. I mean, Adrian Peterson it's the same. They're pretty much the same guy. Unless one of them get injured, they're pretty much, they're gonna cancel each other out because they're splitting the work. So I don't know. I'm not a fan of the Detroit, because the problem with Detroit is this: Detroit prefers to sling it, right? So at that point, the only running back that would be viable is the one that's catching those passes. From a carry standpoint, they ain't really giving the ball. They ain't really giving the rock to the running backs like that. They normally are slinging it. So when you consider that, I can't touch the Detroit running backs. I just can't. Like, I would try to find better options than Detroit. I would rather take my chance to speculate with another team. Like, I think I would rather pick up the running back from the one that I said that was a speculative ad, but I can't remember his name right now. Let me pull up my list again. Hold on. Because my memory is terrible, especially on after work. So let me see who was my... Oh, Brian Hill. I think I'd rather take a flyer on Brian Hill than keep a Detroit running back at this point. Because there could be a possibility that Brian Hill might potentially take the job away from... eat up more carries from Gurley. I think the Detroit situation, they got 3 running backs. I can't do it. Yeah, I agree, Slim. I think I'd rather have Burkhead over any of the Lions running backs. At least I know they're going to try to run the rock. Like, you got to think about teams that want to run the rock and set the tone when it comes to running the ball. The Patriots are one of those teams. The Falcons aren't, but they only have 2 running backs. So, like, when you have just 2, that's something more manageable. You don't really have that option with Detroit. And the fact they don't like running the ball like that. So, nah, I don't. Like, there's some running back cores I don't touch. I'm out of the Detroit business. I'm out of the New England business. Because I can't guess which one is going to go off in New England. And I can't guess which one's going to go off in Detroit. That's what it boils down to. You're guessing every week. And even if you had them both, them together still isn't giving me enough to warrant it. Like, if I felt like if you have a running back core situation where both running backs could be RB2s, like if they're RB2s by themselves, you can have a situation where you can just start them both. And then you could just hedge your bets. You put one in running back 2, put one in the flex. But Detroit's not that type of situation. Like, we had that type of situation a few years back with New England, with the Patriots, when we had Sony Michel and James White. We had that type of situation with Carolina a decade ago when we had Jonathan Stewart and D'Angelo Williams. But we don't have that type of situation with Detroit, because Detroit ain't built like that. Detroit wants to pass first. So just take that into consideration. All right, 2-minute warning, guys, and then I'm going to be out of here for this debate. Do you guys have any more questions for me to roll with? I'm going to go upstairs and cook me a dinner during this debate and watch this comedy, because it's going to be comical tonight, guys. I'm all about the comedy life. But I appreciate you guys coming in. I'm going to try to do these things every week. I think 8 o'clock is probably a better time for everybody. I'm going to try to push to make them at 8 o'clock from this point forward, because I want to try to do 8 o'clock this and do some games, streaming at 9 on my page, on my personal page. So this is good. I'm not going to do streaming tonight because I want to laugh at the debates. For me, the debate is for my entertainment personally, man. Like, I think, I don't know, like, I don't think that the debates move the needle as much. I think this debate might be a little bit different depending on how the candidates perform. I think if Biden comes up there and look incoherent, it's going to hurt him big time. I think if Trump goes up there and looks incoherent and reckless, I think it's going to hurt him. I'm curious to see how it's going to go. I think it's just comedy, because, politicians are used to lying and it's nothing's more blunt than what we have now. Like, it's entertainment to me. I'm watching just for the entertainment. I might have my daughter watch it so she can understand that these are the best 2 people we can come up with, which is disappointing to say the least. So that's what I'm looking for the debate. I think it's just going to be hilarious. I'm just going to enjoy it. It's just going to be entertainment for me. I'm not going to take it seriously. I'm a believer that the local elections over everything. I think it's important to elect the people that you want running your city, your state, and in Congress. I don't think the presidency is as important as everybody else hype it up to be. I think everything else around it, like local elections, is the key to try to fix things within your community, not the presidency. Like, you got to start local first, and I think as a country, we do a terrible job at that. Appreciate it for you guys coming in. I'm gonna do this thing every week. I'm gonna try to shoot for 8 o'clock every week. I had to do 9 o'clock because everything that was going on last week, but you guys keep pounding. I'm gonna do my fantasy Q&A right before kickoff at 11:30 a.m. on Sunday. So I will talk to you guys then. I don't know if Rashad's doing live streaming this week. If he is, he's going to be doing it by himself because I'm going to be chilling this week, I think. So I'll talk to you guys later. And always remember, keep pounding, guys.